What's up, guys? It's a beautiful Tuesday morning here in the Atlanta metropolitan area, and it's raining. And I was just sitting in my car reflecting, because that's what you're supposed to do. Ride around in silence sometimes and just listen to your own thoughts. But I got an email last night, and it's so crazy because I went to sleep around 10:30 and the email came in at 10:45. But the person emailed me because they don't have access to me via any other source. And the email just really, at first I was like, man, I ain't finna read this shit. Fuck that shit. But then I was like, nah, because if I know I'm secure with where I am and the choices that I've made in life, I can allow myself to read, to hear this person's thoughts and feelings, allow them to speak their piece or say whatever they need to say without me being bothered or feeling like I need to say something, or there has to be some type of rebuttal or response or proving a point or putting somebody in a place. Allow motherfuckers to just be. If a motherfucker want to say some stupid shit, let them. If a motherfucker want to say some really profound, prolific shit, let them. And as I read the email, I was like, okay, well, before I even read it, I was like, my intention behind reading this is just to get an understanding of where they at with it, whatever they gotta say. Maybe it'll be a good laugh. You feel me? God gonna throw a good chuckle in there. And he definitely did that. But all in all, the point and what I gathered from it was like, you got to just allow things to be. You got to allow people to be. You got to allow everything to just be. And you are only in control of your motherfucking self. So if you decide, hey, I observe this situation for what it is, and I don't want to participate, then make the choice not to participate. If you decide that you don't like the weather in Tucson, Arizona, and you want to move, make the choice to move. Put a plan together and maneuver out of it. I made a choice that I was thankful for the experience that I had, and I learned from it, and it allowed to build the foundation for where I am now. But had I not gone through all of that shit that I was going through, I wouldn't be here where I am right now. A year ago, I was pregnant in a relationship I knew I didn't want to be in. But you get to your early 30s and you start feeling like you're supposed to check off these boxes. Don't be forcing shit to fucking happen. Bro, if you know that some shit don't sit right with you, allow yourself to release it. Allow yourself to release it. Because then it's gonna get to the point, you ever deal with somebody and you be like, oh, this motherfucker taking me out of my character. I don't even be acting like this, because you're forcing yourself to deal with somebody or to deal with a situation that doesn't resonate with you, and you know deep down inside that you don't fuck with that shit or that person, but you're forcing the connection, you're forcing the situation, you're forcing yourself to get up and go into that job every day when you really don't fucking like that shit. It doesn't align with who you are. It may have aligned with who you were before. I went into the county thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna work my way up. I had a whole 15-year plan about how I was gonna retire from Alameda County Social Services Agency. And 8 years in, I was like, I did what I needed to do. I served who I needed to serve, and I'm okay with walking away because I've done the things that I wanted to do, and I'm okay with releasing this to make space for this. And it's hard for people to let go because you feel like you have to have everything planned out. And yes, you should have a plan, but you also should understand how to just flow with things, because everything that we be having planned out for us, God be like, watch this. Y'all know how the song go. But it's you have to be cool with allowing God to move, because the things that we be having planned out for ourselves, yeah, it's a cool plan, but God be like, I ain't gonna take nothing from you if I don't give you nothing better. I was pregnant, didn't know it, ended up finding out. So I'm like, okay, cool, we about to have another baby. But then it was like something was wrong. And I thought I was having a miscarriage. I ended up going to the hospital. They was like, we're rushing you into surgery right now. The baby is stuck in your fallopian tube. It could erupt and you could fucking die. We taking your ass into surgery in the next 3 hours. And it was like, I didn't plan to be pregnant, but when I found out I was pregnant, then I planned to be a mother again. And then that plan shifted by me no longer having that child. So it's like, you can't always depend on your plan to work. But you also have to understand that God is going to move in a way where, like, I just look at it like, if I was fucking pregnant, bro, if I had that baby, where would I be now versus where I am now? I love my daughter to pieces, love her to life. Thankful she's the only one I got, though. Like, for real. I look at pictures of that time period a year ago, and I just thank God for releasing me from that situation, because I thought I wanted something that I realized I ain't really want that shit. I ain't want that shit like I thought I wanted that shit, and I'm thankful that I'm in a space where I don't have that shit. So you just have to stop forcing things. You feel me? Sometimes people be in situations and it's like you forcing it, and God is gonna keep fucking with you until you walk away, or he's gonna make it become a situation where you're just so pissed off, you're so upset, you're so frustrated, you're so like, ugh, because he was like, motherfucker, I showed you the exit a long time ago. Now you don't want to leave. I'm finna set this whole bitch on fire. No fire extinguisher in sight, and you're going to have to find a way to evacuate. Get with it or get lost. For real. Like, stop forcing shit that's not meant to be. We gotta stop being scared of the unknown. Because it's like, okay, if I put this plan together and then something happens to where this next step doesn't work or the plan doesn't work, we start panicking like, oh no, what's gonna happen now? God will show you what's supposed to happen next. He really will. You just got to be willing to sit still for a minute. You got to be willing to be patient for a minute. Sometimes he's still going to allow our plan to be executed, but you got to stay on step 2A for 15 days longer than you can get to step 2B. And he's like, okay, well, you know, if you sit patient, I'm going to double the reward. But if you backdoor and try to go behind me and do some shit, you're gonna fuck up what I have in store for you. Just sit your motherfucking ass down and be patient. Be patient. Be willing to let things go, because you can't receive better or receive more or have an abundance in something if you're like filling that space with just fluff. You know, like when they give you the bag of chips and it's half air, you don't have space for anything else if all you got in there is fluff. So think about what's some shit you are consuming that's just fluff in your life, and think about what you can do to release it so that you can make room for something else. You know, maybe the fluff is that you binge watching Netflix when you really could be listening to audiobooks and gaining knowledge. Maybe the fluff is that you keep spending money on fast food instead of buying groceries and really cooking with your family. Bring the kids in the kitchen instead of shoving them off with their Game Boys or their iPads. That's fluff for them. When you push them away and tell them to go do something else, that's fluff, because what they really could be doing is spending time learning from you. And don't get me wrong, we all need a break from these motherfucking kids, okay? But what I'm saying is, make sure that the break is, when they need a break, encourage them to read or to draw or to color or to use their imagination to write a story instead of just go get the iPad. And even in situations where they go get the iPad or the laptop, watching fucking I don't know what's a new show. I don't know these kids be watching, because I don't have TVs in my house. I just deactivated Netflix, so I don't know what's going on in the world. But whatever your child likes to watch, right, instead of and I mean, do the 15 minutes or whatever, but then turn it around and be like, okay, now type me a story about what just happened and what you think is going to happen next. Because then they're able to utilize their motor skills with thinking. They're able to start learning how to utilize a keyboard. They're able to start using their imagination and hypothesis about what's going to happen next. You know, the plot of the story, the setting, the characters, things of that nature. We got to push ourselves to do more with our minds and push our kids at the same time. And when we push ourselves and our kids see that we're pushing ourselves, then they're going to be more open and receptive to pushing themselves as well. Like, oh shit, mommy reading a book? Okay, cool. I'm gonna crack my book open too. And then we could talk about what happened in each other's book and what we think is gonna happen next. Like, get back to connecting with the people around you instead of being so, like, you know, disconnected. You sitting right next to somebody, but y'all disconnected. It's bullshit. Stop the bullshit. Stop the cap. So yes, that's my Talk About It Tuesday. Appreciate you for listening. Peace.